Hi everyone, I'm Keshia.
And I'm Sam.
Welcome to Crying in the Cinema. This is our first episode.
The very first one. We're going to be crying, weeping, sobbing, bawling. So we hope you'll bring a pack of tissues and cry along with us.
Yeah, there will be many emotions involved. So yeah, enjoy the ride. So why crying in the cinema though? Why is it the podcast that we choose to do?
Yeah, good question. Do you want to outline it for our listeners who are probably crying in confusion?
Yeah, so crying. I love to cry in the cinema. So it's quite self-explanatory, I think, my reasoning. But also, we're quite critical about everything, including films that we watch. So sometimes we do cry with the situation in this world sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes if it touches on an issue we care about or something personal to us, something relatable. But also, as critics, sometimes we cry at the creative choices made and get upset. Why didn't they write it like this? Why didn't they direct it like that?
Yeah, sometimes we wish we can talk directly to these filmmakers.
Yeah.
So instead of actually sending them an email, we just want to rant here to everyone.
Yeah, it could have been an email, but we're doing a podcast instead.
So why films are important to you, Sam?
Well, films have been with me my whole life, and I actually wanted to be a filmmaker when I was younger. I was very inspired by a lot of the films I saw, and the behind the scenes features. I ended up going to do a film course at university, which was partly film studies, but also film production, hands-on modules in screenwriting, cinematography, all those kind of things. And yeah, although I never really went into working in film after that, I still have a real passion for it and watching it and learning about the human condition through film. I think it's a great vehicle for that. What about you?
Well, I have a question first. Mm-hmm. Why did you even go to film school to start with?
I thought I wanted to make movies. I think when I was younger, I watched the behind the scenes features on a lot of films. I think the one that inspired me the most was The Lord of the Rings, my favorite films, like a trilogy of films, and seeing the sense of community and family between the cast and crew was something that I desperately wanted for myself.
Aww.
And then growing up, going through life, I found that without having to work in film anyways. So I think the need was already satisfied, and now I feel happy working in other things. I'm hoping this podcast will reconnect me to film in some sense, perhaps.
Slay. Yeah. So since you asked, for me, I think it's very personal. Since I was a kid, I went a lot to the cinema with my family, usually my parents and also my grandma as well. So I came from a film family back in Indonesia. My mom and grandma, they're both film producers. My aunt, she's an actor. She's still acting as well, doing really amazing stuff. So I also felt like I grew up on film set. So instead of actually being a filmmaker myself, I actually it's the environment I'm used to. So I love the social aspect of it when it comes to being on set. I think it is about meeting different kind of people, and I really love staying in the wardrobe and makeup room because that's like where the crew had all the tea, all the gossip, and also as someone with anxiety, which is, I'm not gonna make it like bad, but like my anxiety also kind of started when like they start filming and everyone like should turn off their phones, and I was always anxious that I'm gonna like sneeze or my phone will, you know, I had my first phone in like grade 6 anyway. So it was just a whole like similarly to what Sam said, it's very like community based. You feel like you're in a, you know, big family. So I think, yeah, it is just naturally an activity that I do with my family almost every weekend, going to the cinema. Everyone is just so idealistic about filmmaking. Before we moved to digital now, we use film rolls. So at home we had the film rolls and the fridge. Since my mom's the producer and sometimes you do like to cut costs, that's very, very, you know, common. And other than that, just love films. I love a film that makes me think and impact me in some kind of way, hopefully positively. And also just to inspire me to do all these new and fun things. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I never knew we were coming at it from a similar angle. The way you phrase your answer makes me realize that our backgrounds are similar in some way, and what drew us to film, that sense of community and the sociable aspect of it, as we are both quite social people. Does that make sense?
I mean, you actually made films, I'm sure, at uni.
Yeah, and before uni, you know, in high school, lots of very amateur projects. Yeah. But, you know, some of them I was very proud of, and they were all very fun to make, even the ones that turned out terribly. Yeah,
the school project's iconic. I made one. It was supposed to be a YouTube series. It's a comedy, family comedy. But we didn't end up continuing it because my two friends and, one of my friends and I, we went abroad after high school. So there was a bit of not drama actually, just the editor lost the the second episode. So we never really finished it. But anyway, it's been there. I want to also create. Quite jealous that you went to film school, but I didn't end up doing it. But, you know, you can still do it. I think when I lived in Leeds a couple years ago, I went to Leeds Queer Film Festival, and I found this community of people who make like short films, and like, wow, it is possible to make shorts with like almost no budget. It's just a bunch of people who just want to create. So nothing is impossible, really.
Yeah, your imagination is the limit, I guess.
Yeah. So I think it's about time to talk about Letterboxd. Well, usually the classic Letterboxd question is, what is your top 4 films? Since we talk about why we made this, I think it's time for us to show ourselves by telling everyone our top 4.
Yeah, I agree. Should we take it in turns, one each?
Yeah, we can.
Do you want to start?
Okay. Oh, this is a new one for us, actually. It's Chicago.
Great choice.
Chicago. So it is very, very, very musical, unapologetically musical. Iconic songs, editing by the gods. So growing up, I knew the song All That Jazz. I think as a woman, I've always been so drawn to this like sort of sexy and like empowering women led like musical. So I knew the song before I actually watched the full film, which was a couple of months ago with Sam, and I found it just like it's so engaging, the whole like from top to bottom, really. And we found a new favorite song. It's We Both Reach for the Gun. Yeah. Which is whimsical, catchy, but also quite deep. Recently I saw like a TikTok trend with that song, just when people show these different scenarios when you're kind of in competition or rivalry with someone else. So I think it's something that is like still relatable even after it was made in 2002. And one thing about me that I've just said to Sam recently, and I have to repeat to everyone, that I'm a sucker for prison/jail films. So I will talk more about that. There are probably some baggages that I might have to share why I'm drawn to prison/jail films. I'm not really sure. Quick answer. I don't know. Like I like to put myself in a situation where I'm confined, and I like to imagine what's gonna happen to me. It's my own thing. It's personal. So that was my first film. How about you, Sam?
Yeah, Chicago's a great choice. I loved watching it with you. The music was amazing. The editing was amazing. The performances, yeah. And I'm definitely still humming those songs to myself frequently. My first film from my top 4 is Parasite. So yeah, it caused quite a stir when it came out. I think it won Best Picture at the Oscars. So it's not the hottest take having it in my top 4, but I found it. I think what I like about it is that it has a bit of everything. You know, it has a bit of tragedy, a bit of comedy, a bit of, you know, a lot of drama, and like flavors of all sorts of thriller and horror as well. It's this real mishmash of genres, and it's just held together by a very gripping narrative, fantastic direction and editing, and I think obviously it has themes that are very deep, and you can pick them apart in great detail, especially as it relates to class. So I mean that's my top 1. I think you've seen that film as well, Keshia.
Yeah, I really loved it. I think I haven't had dinner at the moment, so I also remember about the ramen and the steak.
That steak looked really good.
Yeah.
That was probably the MVP in the movie.
They were like rich. That house was, beautiful. But yeah, it's about social class system in South Korea. So yeah,
and it's just gorgeously shot.
it's beautiful.
As well.
I love beautiful. I'm a sucker for beautiful films anyway. Sometimes I just watch a film and I'll be like, that was the best film ever, and I'm like, oh, why? And I'll be like, because it looked beautiful.
Oh, and something I forgot to mention is with this top 4 list, I think we should check ourselves about whether they made us cry. And Parasite, I mean, it didn't make me cry, but it did make me very sad. I think the ending doesn't linger long enough for the tears to start coming out. But I mean, it left me numb. It left me numb in a way that was sad and a way that made me reflect. So could you backtrack to Chicago? Did it make you cry?
Well, not really, but it gave me this sort of like excitement to be a woman. So that's powerful enough to me. Sometimes I do cry when things, when films brought up the idea of activism or feminism or power of the people, but apparently not Chicago. It was just so beautiful. So
what about the next one on your list, and did it make you cry?
Answer is yes. So the film is called Sound of Metal. It was made in 2019. Not made. I mean, it was out. So I love that film. So it is heavily on the topic of disability and mental health, but it wasn't made like a cheesy film. It's very raw, very genuine. Riz Ahmed was so good. The eyes were saying so much. I think what I brought from that film was that to journal after you wake up. That was the tip that he got to handle his the pressure of being deaf as a musician, as a drummer. So I cried. I think I cried quite early in the film when he realized that he's deaf. It was really hard to get. It was sorry, not get. It was really hard to absorb the truth because he's such a passionate musician. So I can't imagine how it is to be deaf as a musician, but he managed, and I think that's very heartwarming. I say these things as if it's like a soft, heartwarming film. It is not, by the way. If you ever want to watch it, it's quite stressful. The camera's a bit stressful. The music's a bit stressful, but it's really good. So.
Nice. I'm itching to check that one out sometime soon.
Yeah, it's so good. How about your second one?
My second one is The Worst Person in the World, which, what year did that come out? 2021, maybe?
I'm not sure.
It's a Norwegian film, and this one actually made me cry the most out of any film in my top 4.
Wow.
For anyone that doesn't know, it's about a woman in her 20s going into her, I think from like her early 20s to her late 20s, if I'm remembering correctly, and it tracks her personal life through that time and some of the issues and obstacles and emotional hurdles that she goes through during that time. And as someone who was, I think, 27 when I watched it, it just really resonated in that way. And for anyone who has seen on Letterboxd, there is a list called Feeling Lost in Your 20s, and that's one of the films on the list. It may be on the cover of it, I'm not sure, but yeah, that one definitely moved me a lot. And there are, I think, definitely in the second half of the film, there are some secondary characters who have some really touching and very insightful monologues. And people that have seen the film probably know what I'm talking about. I'd highly recommend it if you've not seen it. I believe you have seen it, Keshia. You weren't a fan.
Not a huge fan. I mean, there was a lot of jealousy aspect that I couldn't really relate. Jealousy in a way, she felt that her friends were ahead of her, which is a very common feeling for everyone to feel like, oh, maybe I'm kind of behind.
I think I related to that.
Nah, what happened when I was 27? I actually forgot. But when I watched that, no, it's funny because, I'm with Sam at the moment, but that time I wasn't really bothered about milestones in my life. I was quite easygoing with these life targets and goals. Very flexible about it. Most of my friends from high school were already married at that time, and I was always a single friend for a while, so I wasn't really bothered much. And I think it came from a very privileged background as well.
Yeah, she was very middle class in the film, if I recall.
So I wasn't really feeling sad about it. Okay. The same feeling how I felt about
Frances. Like they're similar films in a way. Like they're similar films, different flavors.
Yeah.
What's your next one? And did it make you cry?
Oh. So we're kind of off topic now. I felt that because my top 4 wasn't really sad film, except Sound of Metal actually. But it's Handmaiden, 2016. I think I watched it quite late, so I think a couple years ago I watched it since everyone was raving about it, and I was late in the game. Another thing about me, other than prison/jail films, I really love a period film. I love seeing characters from a different era. And it's about women scheming men. So that's another empowering for me in a cheeky way, like, scheming men.
Well, and the character was imprisoned effectively in that film,
that's
wasn't
true,
she?
actually. Yeah, she was. You're right. But it wasn't like a prison film.
No.
Yeah, correct. But yeah, Handmaiden, another beautifully shot film. Yeah, it's a lesbian lore, so I can't really say much. It's I love queer films as well, so
I think something that really stood out to me about The Handmaiden is that the narrative keeps you guessing almost the whole way through.
Yeah.
You're unsure of which allegiances are real and which ones are not, and it kind of keeps pulling the rug out from under you and flipping the table and making you reassess how you thought things were. And I think that's a very masterfully done piece of work, piece of storytelling.
nice. You also like it, seems like.
Yeah.
Well, my only note, it wasn't directed by a woman. Still in my top 4. I'm just a human being. I'm trying my best every day, but I really wish it was directed by a woman. Just one note. So your third film, Sam?
My third film is, I already mentioned that I was a big Lord of the Rings fan, and so my third film on this list is Return of the King, which is the closing chapter of the trilogy. I was so hyped as a kid, looking forward to seeing this film, and I think due to the age ratings, it was the first one I could go and see in the cinema, which was awesome. And I went to the cinema twice, once with my mom, once with my dad, because they weren't free at the same time. And yeah, I loved it, and I still love it. I still love Lord of the Rings. I'm introducing Keshia to it recently.
Yeah, when was it? Last
week.
Last
we
week,
watched
yeah.
the first one, and I can't really go into too much plot details now because I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say that I did cry. I did cry on some of my rewatches, but not all of them. I think it depends when I watch it. I watch it probably like once a year, so I think some years are better than others. Some years I'm more stable than others. But yeah, I mean, what I will say about it is that it's definitely a rich texture of emotions, very high highs for the characters, very low lows for the characters, and you will see that when we watch it in a few weeks from now. But so that's my third pick.
Yeah, I watched the first one recently, and I get the hype, I think I told Sam this before. Everyone watched it. It's an iconic film. Oh, well.
Cultural phenomenon, I would say.
Sorry. Phenomenon. I told Sam I didn't watch it as a kid because as a girly, I felt this film was just heavily like as a boys' club, is a bit of this brotherhood kind of theme, which was fine, but I needed to relate to one of the mains, usually one of the main character, to feel interested to watch a film as a kid before. Of course, there are women characters, but I felt that they were quite secondary, and they're just more like a muse instead of the characters with the mobility. I'm not talking about power. They couldn't be, women with power, but it's just less agency in the film. But I really enjoyed it. I watched the first one. We can talk about it more later.
Yeah. Nice. What's your next? The third one.
So I dragged you to watch this, and this last week, and that was the third time I watched it. So it was Funny Girl, 1968. Gorgeous girl, Barbara Streisand. The title is Funny Girl. I love funny things. I love jokes. I love funny characters, and I find the film really funny. Although, noting that it was made in 68, which was it 68? It was.
I think so, yeah.
I'm saying this and I'm questioning myself. The dresses, gorgeous. As someone who wears black most of the time, the dresses, I'm like, I want to recreate that so much. I think that's enough reason, but also I'm a sucker for Technicolor. I miss that. I'm saying this as if I was born in the 40s, but I'm just like, I miss that so much. Yeah, another note, it was just, I wish the film was focused more on Fanny Brice's career, because that's a very, I think, a fun and inspiring topic instead of just focusing on her love life. But also, the more I think about it, I guess it's fine. That guy in Fanny Brice's life was, that was kind of a big game changer as well in her life. So how she can get she was quite linear when she was younger, the way she thinks, and then when she got into that marriage, they kind of widens up her life, widens up her mind, but also she's quite stuck as well. So it's just it is a richer part of her life, weirdly, although less entertaining. I hope I'm not rambling.
No, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, her career plot line is wrapped up in the first quarter of the film, I want to say. And yeah, I mean, it does feel kind of abrupt in a way. It feels too easy. I mean, there wasn't enough conflict maybe for me. But yeah, I mean, I love the film overall.
Well, it's based on a true story.
Yeah.
So, we don't know much about Fanny Brice, the real person, but I'm sure because she probably wanted it to be more about her love life too.
Did it make you cry at all? I mean, the thing is, I felt it was quite she goes from a triumph to a bit of difficulty, but difficulty that she seems to overcome with ease. So there was never like an emotional nadir in the film, I didn't think.
Yeah.
Well, did it make you cry at all?
No.
Maybe with laughter?
Yeah. I think I want to cry because the dresses were so beautiful, and sometimes beautiful things make me want to cry.
Fair. Very deep. Was that your last one?
Yeah, that was 4. So what's your last one?
My last one. Okay, we'll need to prepare the mailbags for a lot of hate mail because this is the hot take. The 4th one on my list is Babylon, which, to be fair, it has been reappraised a bit. When it came out, the critics kind of hated it, and a lot of the audience didn't take to it. But I think since that time, there's been a lot of people saying actually they do quite like it, and I count myself among those. 3-hour-long film, and it's about the transition away from silent movies to talking pictures. I think some critics were frustrated that it was retreading old ground from Singing in the Rain. I thought it worked as a homage, but I think it's a taste thing. I found it very funny as well, and I think the scene where they're adapting to being on a soundstage for the first time with the sound technician being there, that probably did have me crying with laughter because it was very relatable from the times I was making student films. We have to stop because there's a plane flying overhead, or we need to stop because some stranger just like said something like walking past, or just stopping for all these reasons again and again and again. And the moment that you get the sound right, the actor does something wrong. They mess up a line or they stand in the wrong place. And I was cackling with laughter. I actually ran into a couple of people I knew at the screening. They were both actors, and I could hear them in the front line dying with laughter as well. So I think for people that have done some stuff related to film, it probably hits a bit different. And I think in terms of the ending, they try and hit an emotional note on the ending. Maybe if I'd had a full career in film, it would have worked. But I didn't shed a tear in the ending. But yeah, I love that film. And it was another one you weren't a fan of, right?
Oh,
Babylon.
not really. Yeah, yeah. But I've told you I'm open to
Rewatching it, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it worked for me. But yeah, I can accept that it's a bit long.
Yeah, you love this.
I love long
This is the
films.
thing about Sam. Sam loves long films, long, dragging, vibe films.
Especially if they take place over many, many years, which Worst Person in the World does. And some of my other favourite films, which I'm sure we'll get into in future episodes.
Yeah. So, sorry about my films not being too sad, but then we want to segue to our second topic, which is actually what are the films?
Well, it's a game, isn't it?
Yeah, it is about films that make us cry. So yeah, but you can explain the game because you came out with this idea.
Well,
Okay.
Two Truths and One Lie. So we're going to list 3 films that made us cry and the scenes in them that made us cry. That you knew that, right?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Okay, you may need to think on the fly. That's fine.
Okay.
But one of these films is a lie. One of these are films, not only did it not make us cry, but we actually never even watched it. So, shall I go first? It will give you a bit more thinking time.
Okay, thank you. Please.
Castaway.
What Castaway?
Castaway with Tom Hanks.
Cool.
So, it's a film about a man who's stranded on a desert island. And he is alone, totally alone, but he befriends an inanimate object. And the inanimate object has a dedicated death scene, which leaves him properly alone, like even more alone than he was before. And that scene made me cry.
Okay.
Actually, shall I just go through my 3?
Please, yeah, and then I have to answer.
Yeah. Okay, second film is an Adam Sandler comedy named Click. And it's about a man who needs... he wants to control his life more. So he gets a remote control that can pause time, fast forward time. It can like help him change his appearance. Like it can do anything. And that is not the kind of film that you'd expect to make me cry. But for anyone that's seen it, they may remember that there's a scene late in the film where a character is brimming with regrets and is on their deathbed. And yeah, Adam Sandler gives the performance of his career. Apart from Punch Drunk Love, maybe.
Yeah, Punch Drunk Love.
But, okay, so that's the second one. The third one, Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World. Anyone that's seen it will remember there's the scene with the baby dinosaur that is running away from the bloodthirsty humans. And they corner it, and there's a CGI tear that kind of runs down the dinosaur cheek before it gets killed. And that admittedly made me cry. So those are my 3 films. Those are the 3 scenes that made me cry. And would you like to guess which one was made up? Which one have I not seen?
It would be embarrassing if I don't know, because like we're dating and stuff. But like, I think it's Adam Sandler's Click.
Have you seen Click?
I think so. When it came
a long time
ago, yeah.
That was true.
Yeah.
No, as in you got it
No,
wrong.
oh no, I'm wrong. You cried? I didn't know you
I
would.
cried at that. But also
when it came out.
Yeah, it's kind of a meme online. I think a lot of people cried at that film.
Except me.
At the same scene. But the one that was made up was Jurassic Park 2. I don't think there's a baby dinosaur that has a tear that had a tear in its eye.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have so much haters just because I don't know any detail about.
I've seen the first Jurassic Park. That's the only one.
I watched it like years ago.
No, I think I may have seen the third one. I don't think I've seen the second one.
Was the second one the one? Was it Bryce Dallas Howard?
No. That's the new. That's like the reboot.
Was it the third one?
Yeah, these are like the old ones. 1990s.
Right.
What are your 3? Have you prepared something?
To trick you. Yeah, okay, I'll start. I'm like now scared. Okay, the first one is Finding Nemo. I cried just when Merlin lost his son. I watched it in cinema when I was 6. And I cried as a kid. Because that's so crazy. I can't imagine just being lost as a kid and like my parents just looked for me. So I was bawling. The second one is Corpse Bride. I cried as a kid that time because it wasn't really a wedding that was bound to happen, and it's it wasn't supposed to be just happening, and I absolutely forgot much of the film, but then I remember I cried because I as a kid I'm a bit weird about weddings because I'm so scared. What if I get married as a child?
But that's why you cried, not because
because I'm scared. No. It's it's not because it's scary, because it's
you're just scared of getting
forced.
married.
Yeah.
Well, that's
as a kid.
Interesting information to me.
No, as a kid, not as a 28-year-old. So yeah, I had a thing about prison. I had a thing about marriage. There's something to do with
marriage
confinement.
was a prison.
So yeah, just saying. And the third one is Return to Seoul, which we talked about yesterday. And I'm openly in love with the film because I relate about sense of belonging, etc. I cried when she was really, really drunk and on all these bad substances in her body, and she was partying until the morning. It was just a crazy night that made me cry. Just that. Now I think that was the film for me, that being confused in my 20 kind of film. It was just that confusion, being in a foreign place, meeting with these people that you barely know, but you thought you were free, but then you weren't. So which one that
I like your list. I think Return to Seoul is a bit like Finding Nemo, because Nemo's trying to get back to his parent, and so is the main character in that film. I can't remember her name, but I believe that you would cry in Finding Nemo and Return to Seoul. Corpse Bride, I don't think I believe, because your reasons for crying seem very vague and strange.
Yeah, it was bad acting. You're correct.
Yes. Got it.
Yeah. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know that Sam would ask for the particular scene, which is very fair because you need to explain what you're saying, really. I remember as a kid watching it, forgot exactly what the story was, so I just made it up.
So in terms of, I think we were just going to briefly talk about the kinds of films that make us cry and why, what things set you off.
Oh, family, definitely. Relatability level for me, which is, I think, the topic of being away from your home, from your family, from your friends, because I've been a diaspora girly. That makes me sad. Activism, fighting against the power, that makes me cry. That film, Pride. It was just people, I think on Letterboxd, it wasn't highly rated, but every time they're going to a protest, it's always so moving. These people who are just so strongly out there and go beyond to fight for themselves. So I think that will hit me. And just, Marriage Story. That's a film that I would cry about. Family, relationships, very raw, no background music, just fighting in a relationship. That makes me really sad. So, how about you?
I mean, for me, it's quite different. For me, I think the thing that sets me off the most is characters dying, but not just dying from getting attacked or something, but dying of old age, dying old and frail and alone, filled with regrets.
Queer.
Queer, I cried at the end of Queer. And yeah, I mean, just any films with older characters. I mean, Up, the opening sequence of Up, he's old
Classic.
and alone. Even we went to see Bridget Jones, the new one, in the cinema, mad about the boy. I'm not saying Renee is old. do not quote me on that. She isn't. She's a beautiful young woman, but she is widowed. She's widowed in the film, right? And so she's gone through a lot already, and she is on her own, and then she is trying to rebuild her life after that. And I think that's something I find very moving, and especially when they get very symbolic. I think there was that owl in the movie in the garden, and then it flies away, and it's like Colin Firth has deserted the building.
So I think it's not just about the age then. It is about the feeling of loneliness or being left alone.
Yeah.
Being rejected or left alone.
I think it's interesting. I think when we cry at films, it can help us get in touch with our inner selves and understand our own fears and our insecurities and what affects us. And I think it's interesting because that tells us something about who we are. And I think that's partly why we want to make this podcast and explore that.
Very well said. I wasn't thinking like that, but everything made sense now. So as a proper Gen Z myself, the last topic is about viral/social media moment regarding the cinema, films, filmmaking, or just crying in general. So Sam and I, we haven't told each other about any of this, by the way. So this is going to be our first conversation regarding these topics. Do you want to start? Or
and just a note that we are coming at it from different angles. Our like FYPs are different. you're the TikTok girlfriend. I'm a Reddit boyfriend.
Yeah, and also you're a millennial.
I'm an old millennial. You're a young Gen
This
Z.
generational gap makes our relationship richer.
Yeah. That 5 months is a real chasm.
Do you want to start? You want me to start?
I think you should start because the dog actually may have eaten my homework.
You lost it.
I have a couple of notes. I'm hoping you're going to speak about the same topic, which would be lucky, because then I'm prepared for that.
Okay. Well, I don't think so. Mine's so niche, and it's very TikTok heavy.
Okay.
So my first one is rating, drink, acting by Case. Their name is Case on TikTok. So what they did is they put videos of scenes from film that's about a character drinking, like any drink, could be whatever, water.
Oh, okay.
And then they rate it whether it is realistic or not. And I was cackling. For example, I'm just gonna give their best. It wasn't from a film. It was from a show, but I think it's the show is quite cinematic. I finished it all. Sam didn't. It's The Bear, Carmi, Mr. Jeremy Allen White. So K's give 10 out of 10 for Carmi's drinking water after work scene. Clear cup, you can see the water. Fluid enters mouth. Taste understood by the eyes, the face. The taste is understood, and a full swallow. That's a realistic drinking scene.
What did they rate low? What was like the worst drinking?
It was a show though. It was Gilmore Girls. So they're doing a lot of morning coffee / tea. But then you can see there's nothing inside. So that's just...
That would offend me as a coffee addict.
So yeah, this is not really film, but we will talk about TV shows. Sometimes some mini series. So...
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's in the spirit of that account, but obviously I think the most egregious example would be the Game of Thrones final season, where the characters start drinking Starbucks and Evian water bottles.
Unreal.
It was slightly immersion breaking for me.
Yeah, now I remember that. That was, yeah. So we're talking about TV shows, but that's fine. What's your first?
Well, I struggled to find something that noteworthy this week. In future weeks, I promise I'll do better. But I mean, there's been this Devil Wears Prada shooting pictures. There was a lot of like first image of Anne Hathaway filming Devil Wears Prada 2 in New York. First image of Meryl Streep shooting Devil Wears Prada in New York. And then it became a bit of a meme. There's one with like Daniel Radcliffe with guns.
What?
You know from that film, Guns Akimbo? I actually have never seen it, but there's a picture of him on the street and it's like first picture of Daniel Radcliffe in Devil Wears Prada 2.
But why?
There's one of Albert. It's like a meme because people were seeing all these real pictures from the shoot, and then they're like, "Oh, here's another one that looks like it, but it's crazy. It makes no sense." Al Pacino as well. People are also saying that they think they spent less money on the costume design. What do you think? Have you seen the pictures, and do you think that that is true? I know there's not much money in the arts, so it may well, especially now. So maybe it is true.
As a fashionista, just kidding. As a Revenge Wears Prada reader, what, a decade ago? Is that? Well, I saw the clothes. It was so minimal.
In the new pictures,
yeah.
So you think there could be something to it?
Yeah.
Maybe.
But I really thought these fashion brands would be happily parading their products in a franchise this huge.
Yeah, it's strange. It's odd.
Well, we'll get back to that. Well, I have another one actually.
Okay.
Okay, to be fair, I've mentioned this yesterday. I didn't want to, but I mentioned this. There's a TikTok trend called extras doing too much.
Yeah, you briefly brought it up.
Briefly. Well, this is a film. I have one example, which is not really doing too much, but it was a big flaw from Spider-Man, the first one with Tobey Maguire. So there was a scene of him and then another character. I vaguely remember, but then there was a woman with a purple hoodie with red hair. It was like behind Tobey Maguire, the Spider-Man character, and then was with the character in front of him. She also appears, so it seems like she's circling these characters like a shark, huh?
Like a stalker.
More like a shark.
That's very weird.
Like a stalker as well. So not necessarily doing too much, but like literally circling too much.
That's hilarious. I think I've definitely noticed it in the past, especially when they look at the camera. That's obviously very distracting. There's an example in terms of extras doing too much, the TV series Community. I remember seeing, I can't remember who alerted me. It may have been on the commentary, the DVD commentary that they mention it, but there were two extras who were kind of doing a deliberate prank where they were in the background coming out of a door, out of a building, and it's a man and a woman, and the man does up his flies and they sort of walk off in different directions like that, like they've just done the deed or something like that. It's very funny.
Yeah.
But a bit distracting once you know it, I guess.
Yeah. When we say doing too much, sometimes it is about extras acting too much. That becomes very distracting. But also it could be just like extras doing something in unison that is like too perfect. That's something that happened a lot and that I saw in many films. And it was very distracting because I feel real life is not like that.
Yeah.
People aren't really in sync. People like to talk while they dance at a wedding or whatever. So.
Yeah. I'll keep my eye out. And I think we should reprise this conversation whenever we notice it.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Maybe like new films that we watch.
Well, I think that brings us to the end of our very first episode of Crying in the Cinema. Thank you for tuning in. And we do have an audience question, a question for the audience. So please do write in. Our question is, which film makes you cry and why? Very simple question.
We will write it again on our Instagram. So please DM us. That would be amazing. And we'd love this podcast to be interactive, more like community-based. As we have said, films are for the people to feel that they're not alone, to feel a sense of belonging, sense of community. So that's sort of the DNA of this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, please do give us a follow. Crying.inthecinema is our Instagram account. And if you'd like to send an email instead, you can email us using contact@cryinginthecinema.com.
Yeah.
We look forward to it. And yeah, we will be reading out these answers on the podcast.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Thank you so much for listening, and goodbye.